Ebusiana, there is something going on at Forestry Commission. Ayasemo. One say NDC government we ban. One of wamu promises ne say wamu betu galamsey ase. Now they have started the process. Now if you take a look at how the NDC government episode ending galamsey na efekeke, but there are some people in certain institutions say NDC government no anhwe yia no one yi sankrofo na ebedin. One say yes, Forestry Commission CEO sabotaging Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Assembly ni mamen chiremu na men read na me document na nkasa nchire na TBB ase. The whole issue is that President Mahama opese endi galamsey wo Ghana. And wafa Emmanuel Kofi Bua as Lands and Natural Resources Minister. Na Emmanuel Kofi Bua ebaye no. Ohun se wo Forestry Commission hono ma. Empenyumfo na omude da key positions ano wo hono. Some of them no subanyo omuda na di wo honye. It is under their watch. And then galamsey course pa. So the NDC administration ayo omadwin say womu be den ebe omun saki omu, but they will change their positions. And the CEO of Forestry Commission no resisted that attempt by the government. Now make sure the reason to omu yesa. Credible intelligence reaching me, as supported by the attached letter, reveals worrying developments within the Forestry Commission. My information indicates that a network of entrenched operatives recruited and promoted under the previous NPP government continues to occupy sensitive positions with the commission. These individuals, who still display portraits of former political appointees like Sir John in their offices, have become a law unto themselves. They are actively resisting policy directives and reforms initiated by the Mahama administration, particularly those aimed at sanitizing the Forestry Commission and strengthening its role in environmental protection and forest governance. In line with President Mahama's commitment to fight galamsey and restore integrity to Ghana's forest, the Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Kofi Bua, has begun implementing critical changes to restore order, transparency, and efficiency. Sa galamsey fight ya ye kan, enye se wo sori ya na wo fight. Adia no a gradual process. One, government ni be na afam de by directing him as minister. Ono so di ne tumi as minister no so be directing some key people at the Forestry Commission. No matter o my bibi. Then they all come together and na friend aban no. The presidency be na afam de e na your friend saying, "Oh, the minister be na afam de e na Forestry Commission so be na afam de ye wi ayakase aban no atu galamsey ase." But according to this write up no, sa yina ye kase yebe bua ye ho anu na ya tu galamsey ase no. There are some people at the Forestry Commission, they are resisting such attempt. Shade. One of these changes involves the reassignment of Madam Rosalind, a controversial figure who was handpicked and fast-tracked under Sir John to lead the Climate Change Directorate ahead of more qualified personnel. A reassignment to FCTC Kumasi was meant to restore professionalism and fairness. TSC and Sankrofobia, your friend Mami B, Madam Rosalind. Onuna eye, your friend is saying, Onuna under Sir John, not only the Climate Change Directorate. Tene say, yen reassign Mfanunko FCT Kumasi to restore professionalism. But instead of accepting the directive, the CEO of the Forestry Commission, Dr. H. Brown, who is openly aligned with the old political order and surrounded by loyalists of the previous regime, is actively lobbying against the minister's decision. Reports suggest that he's using high-level back channels, including the board chairman and influential church elders, to plead with the president to overturn the directive. And instead of them to do the right thing, no, Omako share BBH no more pack President Mahama say President Mahama shouldn't change them. My people, this is not an ordinary internal tough war. It is a deliberate and well-coordinated attempt to undermine the Minister of Lands, by extension, President Mahamad's forest governance agenda, at a time when illegal mining is still flourishing with our forests. Forests that fall under the direct supervision of the Forestry Commission. This kind of sabotage is dangerous and unacceptable. How can we win the fight against galamsey and other unlawful operations when the leadership of the very institution mandated to protect our forests is compromised? How can the government succeed when appointees at the helm of such a strategic institution owe allegiance to the very political tradition that wishes to see this government fail? This must stop. The attention of His Excellency John Mahama, His Excellency the President, must be drawn to this creeping sabotage. If we fail to act, we risk shooting ourselves in the foot, leaving the Mahama government vulnerable in its most difficult battlefield, the fight against illegal mining. My name is EL and I hate nonsense. So you see, now mami document lanka sanchiro na yadi. The board chairman, Board of Commissions, Forestry Commission, Accra. Dear Sir, reassignment of Head of State. The current Director of Climate Change should be reassigned to serve as the Director of the Forestry Commission Training Center. The Director of the Climate Change, yes, is Sanity now called FCTC Kumasi. And a CEO no so, and your Marco Navy, and no more resistance as attempt by the government. The current Director of Corporate Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation should be reassigned to assume the role of Director of Climate Change. The Climate Change Directorate should now operate under a Climate Change Implementation Committee made up of the heads of the 3 FC divisions: Forest Service Division, Wildlife Division, and Timber Industry Development Division. 4. Reassignment of the current Director of Human Rights as the Acting Executive Director of Forest Services Division with effect from August 2025. Reassignment of the current Human Resources Manager of Forest Services Division as the Acting Director of Human Rights for FC with effect from August 2025. Into some crofo in a yes some positions. They are not sacking them. Some of them were appointed by Sir John by Yensa Kiomo. Yes, some positions. Because someone say yes, some positions are as a member. All these people were there. They all supervised over some corruption. Yeah, then a course we. And at the end of the day, at the embassy, at the end of the day, some crofo win na. Etiminya quite true galamsey. They were all watching. And they want to change them. And I see CEO now no so on so resist this attempt, which is very bad. Near course no.